I think we have the wrong slide up. It says we're an executive. Yeah.
Ready for you, Chair Keen.
Very good. Good morning. I'm Dwight Keen. I'm chair of the Kansas Corporation Commission. I'm joined this morning by fellow commissioners Susan Duffy and Commissioner Andrew French. At this time, I'll call to order this meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission on this Tuesday, September 20, 2022. Commissioners, the first item before us this morning are 26 items on the consent agenda. It's my understanding that Commissioner French will be recusing on 4 of these items. More specifically, item number 5, which is 22 PLCE-496-TAR. Item number 6, which is 22 WSTE-497-TAR. Item number 10, which is docket number 23-WSTE-233-CCS, and item number 11, which is docket number 23-WSTE-234-COC. Commissioners, we've had the opportunity to review the draft orders in each of the matters on the consent agenda, so I will turn to you and see if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'll begin with Commissioner Duffy.
Good morning, everyone. I have no questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner French.
No questions. I move approval of the consent agenda, noting my recusal on items number 5, 6, 10, and 11. Thank you.
I second the motion as described by Commissioner French.
Then moved and seconded that we approve the order in accordance with the parameters suggested by the motion by Commissioner French. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. The consent agenda is approved. We have 3 matters on our noticed agenda morning. The first of which is docket number 22-ATMG-538-TAR. This is in the matter of the application of Atmos Energy costs and the issuance of a financing order. Before us this morning is an order converting evidentiary hearing to a 1-day hearing on a settlement agreement. And our presenter is our General Counsel, Brian Fedotin. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Commissioners. As you stated that this matter was originally set for a 3-day evidentiary hearing, but on September 15th, the parties filed a unanimous settlement, which negates the need for devoting 3 days to a hearing. So this order converts the evidentiary hearing to a 1-day hearing on the settlement agreement. and that settlement agreement the settlement hearing will be conducted by Zoom. This order sets the hearing on the settlement agreement to begin at 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, September 27th. With that, I'm available for questions.
All right, thank you very much. Brian, let's see if we have any questions. I'll turn first to Commissioner Duffy. You're muted.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner French.
No questions. I move approval of the order in this docket.
I second the motion.
Moving to second, we approve the order in this matter. Any further discussion? Hearing now, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. The order is approved. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Next docketed matter up this morning is doc number 23-TRAM-250-PEN. This is in the matter of the investigation of Fulmer Auto Company, Texas, LLC, DBA Fulmer Cattle Company of Syracuse, Kansas, regarding the violations of the motor carrier safety statutes, rules, and regulations, and the commission's authority to impose penalties, sanctions, and/or revocation of motor carrier authority. Before us this morning is a penalty order, and our presenter is litigation counsel Hassan Latif. Good morning, Hassan.
Good morning, commissioners. The penalty order before you arises out of a compliance review of Fulmer Auto Company, Texas LLC, DBA Fulmer Cattle Company, a private motor carrier which hauls passengers, livestock, grain, feed, hay, farm supplies, and manure, operating out of Syracuse, Kansas. The carrier was previously issued penalties by the commission on March 17th, 2020. And when the commission imposed a penalty alleging 11 violations, and on September 9th, 2021, when the commission issued a penalty alleging 3 violations. Since the penalty was issued in 2021, the most recent penalty, Fulmer Cattle has been involved in at least 2 major accidents. Staff compliance reviews did not directly penalize carriers for the involvement in the accidents. Those are citations are issued at roadside for the accidents at the time. But in our reviews, we do determine if there are any violations of safety management practices committed by the carrier at the time of the accident and otherwise. And we penalize the carrier accordingly for any of those safety management practice violations. With Fulmer, staff has determined that over the course of several compliance reviews and penalties, there have been repeated failures to screen drivers to ensure that they have, for example, a valid commercial driver's license, and also to ensure that drug testing returns a negative test before the driver is allowed to operate a vehicle. And because of that, staff is recommending the commission deviate from the penalty matrix on those 2 specific violations, as I'll go over the violations here in a second. So the penalty order before you is based on an investigation conducted by special investigators Penny Fryback and Erica Pargas from August 8th to August 17th. And during their investigation, the special investigators found several violations, and the order before you assesses penalties for 10 of those violations, resulting in $15,800 in total penalties. Those penalties include a $5,000 enhanced fine for failure to require drivers to submit a pre-employment alcohol and controlled substances test prior to operating for the carrier. Staff requests an enhanced fine because of previous failures of the company's drug and alcohol testing program, as noted in the order, happened in previous reviews. This $5,000 fine is the maximum fine allowed for this violation. Without the deviation, the enhanced fine would have just been $1,300. The second violation is a $1,300 enhanced fine for failure to require its drivers to submit to required post-accident alcohol and controlled substances tests. Again, here staff is requesting an enhanced fine because of the previous failures of the company's drug and alcohol testing program. Additionally, a $750 fine for failure to maintain driver qualification files on each driver. The next is a $5,000 enhanced fine for failing to ensure its drivers possess a valid U.S. commercial driver's license. Staff requests this fine be raised to the maximum allowable amount of $5,000 because the carrier was cited for using drivers without a valid CDL in each of their previous penalty orders. Without the deviation, the penalty would have been $1,000. The remainder are a $750 fine for failure to maintain required records of vehicle inspection, maintenance, and repair on their vehicles, a $1,500 enhanced fine for failure to conduct periodic annual inspections, a $250 fine for failing to have the carrier's drivers sign a written alcohol and controlled substance policy, a $500 enhanced fine for failure to obtain motor vehicle records on its drivers, and a $750 fine for failure to retain supporting documents for each load hauled. Staff recommends approval of the order before you. The results of the investigation will now be reviewed by the FMCSA, who will consider how the violations will affect the carrier's safety rating. But based on the order submitted and is before you, both I and Transportation Director Mike Hamey are available to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Hassan. It was a very excellent and detailed overview. I appreciate that very much. Let's see if we have any questions. I'll turn first this time to Commissioner French.
No questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Duffy.
Yes, I do have a couple of questions. First of all, Hassan, is this a small, very small company, or how would you describe, or Director Hamey, how would you describe the size of this company?
I believe it's a pretty large operation.
Pretty large operation,
Yeah.
so they should have some resources to do some of these basic ABCs of being a motor carrier in the state of Kansas and in the United States, correct?
Yes, we definitely agree that they have the resources to comply with regulations.
Is it onerous to try and get driver's license information in terms of checking the credentials? Would the company have any reason that they're not able to procure those to ensure that their record is good, that check on their record? Is that an onerous operation?
It's a routine part of being a motor carrier is obtaining that information and ensuring that your drivers have the proper credentials to drive for you and pass the drug tests. And it's something that's required of all the motor carriers that operate in the state. And I'm really certain that, and Mike can add anything he has on that, but I believe it's just routine part of doing business. They're information is available to them.
So the fines for which are being levied, they're on items that are considered routine and basic to the motor carrier operating.
Yes.
Motor carrier. Okay.
Definitely.
Also, if you will explain, if we approve this order, then it goes to FMCSA. And at that point, what does happen?
I'll let Mike, do you want to talk about the safety rating review that the FMCSA had done?
Yeah, the compliance review goes to FMCSA because this is an interstate operator. They've declared interstate operations on their MCS 150 profile. They will review the review and determine whether it's conditional and SAT. And based on our experience, it looks like it may be an unsat review, which means the motor carrier will have I think up to 60 days to work with FMCSA to send them a corrective action plan or face being shut down.
Okay, so they operate in Syracuse and out in Hamilton County, just there by the border. Is this information shared with Colorado and surrounding states?
Well, the rating, if they get a rating of unsat, it'll be shared made known to everybody that enters the system to look at their profile.
Okay.
So yeah, this company operates all over the United States.
Okay.
It's a rather large company, and they do have the means to do these basic safety initiatives that we've identified again.
Okay. I would, again, this is one of the most important things we do as a commission is to regulate the motor carrier industry and help ensure its safety with the motoring public, all of those that they share the roadways with. And we understand this industry is so crucial to our economics in this state. And so we want to, at all costs, to ensure that they are operating efficiently and effectively and above all, safely. So I appreciate the work that's been completed by the investigators out in the field. And I believe that your recommendation is a fair and balanced approach in terms of fining, and I will be supporting passage of this order. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Duffy. Is there a motion?
I move we approve this order.
Second.
Okay. We have moved and second. We approve the order in this matter. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. The order is approved. Thank you very much, Hassan.
Thank you.
Our final notice item this morning is docket number 23-CONS-3087-CPEN. This is in the matter of the failure of Ace Energy LLC as operator to comply with KAR 82-3-400 at the Gale Mullen number C43, the Gale Mullen number E43, the Gale Mullen number I43, and the Mullen number 1-22A, and the Underwood 6 number R90 wells, all in Crawford County, Kansas. Before us this morning, pardon me, is a penalty order involving Ace Energy LLC, and our presenter is litigation counsel Tristan Kimbrell. Good morning, Tristan.
Good morning. Thank you. Before you is a penalty order for Ace Energy LLC, which conducted unauthorized injection at 5 wells. This order assesses a $45,000 penalty and directs the operator to cease injection activities at the wells. The order also authorizes staff to seal the wells if necessary to prevent additional unauthorized injection. With that, I would recommend approval of the order, and I am available for any questions.
Very well. Let's see if there are any questions. I'll turn first to Commissioner Duffy.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Commissioner French.
No questions. I move approval of the order.
I second the motion.
Then moved and second, we approve the order in this matter. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. The order is approved. Thank you very much, Tristan. Appreciate your overview as well. Commissioners, by my reckoning, that comes to the conclusion of those matters scheduled to be considered for this morning's business meeting. Unless there's anything further that either of you would care to take up, I would entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned. Take care.
Take care.